Welcome everyone to Quickstart 17.0. I'm going to start off with a 60-second demo to show you how quick and easy it is to get the extension up and running. So let's start off. I want to first show you how you can find the extension. So you could go to search and look for Google Meet Breakout Rooms, and that should be good enough. And you can go here to the store, and there you go, you can find it and download it. All right, so you just click on that button there. That's all inside the Chrome web store. So I already did that, and it's all set up right here, but I actually haven't done anything with it yet. So let's get started, and what I'm going to do here is set the timer for 60 seconds. I want to prove to you that you can get things done very, very quickly. So let's get started. I'm going to start the timer right now. Okay, so I'm going to go to the Courses tab. I'm going to create a brand new course, and this is going to be Web Magic, and it's Intro to Web, and I'll click Save. Now that I have the course, I'll go to the Rooms tab, and I'll choose my course, Web Magic, and I'll choose set up 3 breakout rooms, and I'll click Save. So now I have the links for all those. Next I'll go to the Meet tab, and all I have to do is choose my 3 rooms and click this button, and I'm done. And there you have it. I'm going to stop it right there. Okay, I got it all done within 50 seconds. So that's really pretty fast. Starting from 0, I created the course, Web Magic. I created the settings for the rooms, for the main room and the 3 breakouts. And then I went ahead and executed it. I started up the class, chose Web Magic, the 3 breakouts, and I clicked on the button, and away you go. All right, so let me turn this off, and let's go to our outline here. So I went through the 60-second demo just so you can get an idea of what this extension is all about. This extension allows you to create and manage your classroom in terms of your main room and also your breakouts. And so the way you move through the breakouts is you can control your audio visual, turn on the video here, and then you can click on the slider and you can move from one room to the next and so on. And you can control your microphone, you can broadcast into all the different rooms, and much, much more. But that's really just the basic. So let me close these down, and I'm going to walk you through the details of the extension. And I'll try to do it very quickly, but it will take a little bit of time because there's a lot involved here. So let's start off with the Settings tab. You could display your Meet in either tile format or tabs. What we just saw was a tile format, so every Meet is its own little window. Now you could also choose the colors of your toolbar. You can customize images for your sliders and things like that. These are all customizable options for your control panel. Now this next button allows yourself to be zoom bombed. Now you don't want to do this if you're teaching children or you're in a controlled environment in a school. Leave this off. But if you're teaching adults and you'll have outside participants coming in, you'll share a link with them, you could consider turning that on, and what that allows them to do is just to automatically enter. If it's off, they can request to enter and you'll receive a pop-up, and you could choose to allow them to enter or not, but the default is off. Now the next option here is to automatically join the meets that are created by this extensions. What I mean by that is in the Rooms tab, you'll define different meets, and if you were to call this up in the extension, it will automatically click through the join for you if you have this checked on, and I keep those on. All right, the next option is to basically turn a static link, which is what these are, the purples. These are all static. They never change. But if you turn on this button, if you turn on this option, you click it on, what this will allow the static to do is to dynamically change at runtime. So that at the time that you actually call up the meet, right before you call up the meet, right before it's rendered, it will go out and get a brand new meet link, and it'll use that for the main, and it'll use that for the breakout. So you can separately configure that for the main and also the breakouts. Now, probably if that's what you want, if you want these to always change, you might be better off using nicknames. The nicknames are a little bit more useful because the nickname is always going to be the same, and you could pass the nickname off to your students and they will all call up the meeting by the nickname, but the nickname will point to a dynamic link. All right, so just a couple different ways of doing things. If all your students are in one organization, you may want to go with nicknames, or you could use the dynamic option. If you make it dynamic, it's a little bit problematic because you cannot in advance know what that meet is. So if you want to send that link out to your students in advance, you won't be able to do that if you turn this on. All right, so that's why I keep that off. All right, and if I want these to be dynamic, then I will use nicknames instead. Okay, so that's it for the settings tab. If this whole conversation confused you, then don't worry about it. Just leave it off. Okay, just leave it off. All right, so now I'm going to go to the courses tab. And in the courses tab, it's pretty easy. You can create a brand new course. We'll call this maybe a history class. Let's say American history. All right, and you'll just click save right there. And so if you want to move courses around, you can just drag and drop. If you want to delete a course, it's from the bottom up. Watch this. It will delete Web Magic from the bottom up. You can undo it. And this button right here, the black button on the right hand side, very useful. This will back up your entire data from your extension. I recommend doing that probably once a week or so, just to protect yourself. Things happen, so you want to export this to your download folder. If you have a home computer and you want to copy the data from your school computer to your home computer, this is a good way of doing it. Export it and then take that file and import it to your home computer. You can copy that file to a thumb drive, a USB, or whatever's more convenient to you, and then use that to import it to your home computer. Okay, and so now we're going to move on to the Rooms tab. Now the Rooms tab is organized by courses, all right? So you can look at all our courses here, and for each of these courses, you'll have a main room and breakouts. So I talked about the statics here. I think that'll work for most people. If you are in a pretty secure environment and you want to have these links change all the time, I would recommend using nicknames. Let's take a look at Google Meet. Google Classroom actually uses nicknames. So this 10 characters at the end represents a nickname, and let me just prove that to you. I'll click on it, and there it is, and I'll say join it, and it tells you right away it's a nickname, right? So that's how we know it's a nickname. Now if you want to integrate this with Google Classroom, you can do that. So what we'll do is we will take that nickname, those last 10 characters, or you can just copy the whole Meet link, that's fine. And Control C, triple click 1, 2, 3 will highlight everything, and then click save, paste, and then you can save it. Now this is all drag and drop. If you want to move things around, it's just drag and drop. So if you want to highlight everything, you can't just do it this way. Triple click it, 1, 2, 3 will highlight everything. If you want to highlight something from the right to the left, you can single click and then click a shift and then to the click here, shift to the right, shift command right on the Mac. It's probably shift control right on the left or left. So, all right, now I'm going to go ahead and click save. So in this case, I want to use a nickname, which is the Google Classroom Meet link right here, and use that as the main room, and then I'll have breakouts. Now let's go ahead and run this example. And what I did first of all was I opened it up directly in Google Classroom, which is how most teachers will run their classes. They'll go to Google Classroom and then open it up here. And then if they want to run breakouts, then later on they'll call up this extension. Now, the first thing you need to do after you open this up is to sync it. So you'll click on Start Class, and you'll click on this button here, Open Sync Main Room. So we'll keep an eye on this tab here. It says Meet. All right. It doesn't say Main yet. So we'll click on this. All right, and then it changed to main, so that's how we know it's synced, and then we get a message as well. All right, so it's all synced up. And so when it's all synced up, then you can use the control panel here to control the audio, visual, and so on. And then also you can go ahead and open up the other breakouts. You can click here or here, and we'll open those up. Once you open those up, you'll want to reorganize it. So I'll click the retile option. All right, so it automatically retiles it. And then usually I'll minimize it. All right, and then I can turn on the audio visual and see how things cycle through. You can click and click and click. All right, so that's it for the opening up of the classroom. Now let me close this down. I want to show you something that's very exciting, I think, for a lot of teachers who have small computers. And when I say small computer, I mean they have a low memory computer, a small amount of RAM. If you really want to run this with a large number of classrooms, like say 8 or 9 or 10 or something like that, or even more breakout rooms, you'll need to have around 16 gig of RAM. Now, if you have a Chromebook, that's only 4 gig of RAM, so in that case, you'll want to click on this button, this checkbox right here, and this is a low RAM option. What this does is it opens up your Meet main room and your breakout rooms one by one by one. So you'll only have one window open, and only one Meet will be displayed at any particular time. And you do that to save memory on the computer, save resources on the computer. So let's just go ahead and demo and show you how that works. So I will go back to this example and say that I open up my classroom right here. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on this button. All right, so now I'm synced. It says main. And basically you're all set. You can just use the slider to move to the next room, which is going to be breakout room 1. There you go. And then breakout room 2, and so on. There's a delay because it has to open up the display for the breakout rooms. And so that's a way that, so using this low memory option, small computers can open and manage 20 or more different breakout rooms. It's really theoretically unlimited. Now, one thing I want to point out is there's a help menu right here, help option, help pop up. So click on the red help, and I documented quite a bit of information about how you could use this low RAM option. I even have a video as well that it goes over it, and just there are some reminders, some caveats associated with this. If you get something, sometimes you have to give up something in return. All right, nothing in life is free except for love, right? Love is free. True love is free. All right, so well, a couple things that you'll give up, more than a couple. I think there's 3 that I identified so far. There's probably going to be some more, but the first one you'll give up is the ability to broadcast into all the different breakout rooms. Now I know that's a big deal, but think about it this way. At least you're able to open up breakout rooms and manage breakout rooms. Now, the reason why you cannot broadcast into all the breakout rooms with the low memory option is because only one breakout room is displayed at any particular time. Okay, so that's one thing you'll give up. Another thing you'll give up is the ability to record breakout rooms because only one is displayed at a time. There's also a nice feature down here where you could click on this, which will remove all participants from all breakouts just with one single click. You won't be able to do that because, again, breakout rooms are displayed one by one by one. So you have to go to each of those breakout rooms and then remove the participants. It's still one click, but it's one click per room. All right. Okay, just give me a heads up on that, so hopefully you won't be disappointed. But you can at least be able to run the extension, and you can run breakouts. You can have a large number of breakouts on a Chromebook, which is really pretty amazing when you think about it. You can run 12 or so, 15 breakouts on a Chromebook, which is well, it's more than what you could do right now. So, all right. So think about that. I think this would be a nice option for a lot of people. Okay, who have small computers. Let's see. What else do I want to say about this? Okay, and let's just move on to the next section. I'm going to turn this off. All right, so I'm going to go back to the normal mode. Well, I guess I'll keep it on right there. All right, we're on to the next section, and this next section is assigning breakouts. Now, I don't have any participants in my main room just yet, so let me go to my main room. One thing I want to mention about the low memory option is that once you assign your students and give them the links to the breakout rooms, they will go to those rooms, but the rooms won't be opened until you actually cycle through and you enter it and then you open it. Now, once it's open, that's fine. Then you can leave it. But remember, you're not closing the room when you leave to the next, when you go to the next display. You're just changing the display. That's all. Okay, so let's go to, well, let's see, is this synced? Yeah, there we go. We got to sync it up. Okay, so it says main, we're synced up. All right, now I'm going to add 3 participants. And I'm going to do this in the incognito mode. Oh, is this going to work? All right, I'm going to change my example because remember I was telling you that if you use nicknames, your participants need to be within that same organization. Well, let's give it a shot anyway, because I do know what that meet URL is. I have a feeling it's not going to work, but let's just try it anyway. On the simulated students using the incognito mode. Oh, where did I run into a problem in the incognito mode with this? It was when I was clicking on, well, okay, let's just try. I think I'm going to run into a wall on this, but let's just try it for the demo purposes. Okay, John, Sally. Yeah. And then I'll say Amanda. All right, now let's go take a look here, and then I'm going to admit these students to the main room. Now that the students are in the main room, I can go to the breakouts, and I should be able to see, yeah. So I'm going to randomly assign them. So I'm going to click, and then, say I like it, that assignment, that's fine. Or maybe I can just, I can move people around. You move people around by dragging, dropping, clicking and holding on their name, and then moving them up and down. If you just single click, it excludes the name. So that means that the next time you click random, they'll move to the left. And if you want to include them, you single click and they go to the right again. All right. And again, to move people around, you click and hold. All right, to move them around. So let's just say I'm happy with this assignment, and I'll click right here, and I'll click right here to copy the links into the main room. And I'm going to go right here, and I'll paste those, and then I'll do the next one, and I'll paste these. All right, so looking good so far. So this is the main room. Now I'm going to show you what the simulated students look like. So the simulated students are over here, and the first one's John. John's going to click right here, and John's going to try to go into the next room. So he's going to go into room 1, and I'm going to go to the next person, and this was Sally. Sally was room 2, so I'll click on that, and then Sally will go here. This part right here is all automatic. The only reason I'm having to type in the name is because I'm simulating the students in the incognito mode. Normally, the way it works is the student will look inside their chat and they'll see their name. Okay, so let's just say I'm Amanda. I see my name, Amanda. I see this is, I'm assigned to group 3, and this is the link for group 3, and then I'll just click on it, and immediately I'll be sent into that room. Okay? And this part will be automatic. That Amanda would not have to do this. Amanda would automatically get thrown into the waiting of the room to be opened, because the teacher will actually need to go into the room to open it. So let's go look at that. Now, I'm the teacher over here, and I'm in this low memory mode. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click. Now I'm entering room 1, and once I do that, see, I'm going to see John's waiting for me, and I'm going to admit John into it. Okay, and I'm going to click to the next room. And I'm going to see Sally's waiting for me, and I'll allow Sally into the room. And I'll go to the next one, and this should be Amanda. Yeah, and Amanda is waiting for me, and there you go. All right, so there you have it. This is in the low memory mode, and the students are all in the right places. So you could click through here, and sorry, you can't go too fast. Let me go back. If you see the window is in the process of rendering, just wait for it to finish. Okay, so we'll go to the next one. Okay, now I moved the audio visual controls in this low memory mode directly onto the Meet itself. Now in the normal mode, I advise everybody to control the AV on the control panel. But since it's only one window, and there are actually a couple of technical issues where I had to wait for this Meet to render, before the audio-visual controls over here were able to be effective, I just, out of simplicity, I just said that in the low memory mode, just control it all directly here. All right, so if you want to talk to the students, you can turn it on. Oops, turn it on here, and then show your video, and so on. There's my video right there. Okay. All right, so that's it for the assign breakouts. Okay. And sorry, let me go to the main. So if you go to the main here, you'll see all three. Well, they were assigned. Okay. All right. Okay. Now let me show you how it works in the other mode where you are in the normal mode. Okay, so in the normal mode, you can have control over everything. So you'll have, well, actually, I need to fire everything up here. All right, now I'll retile it. Okay, so this is probably a lot more intuitive because here you can see everything that's going on. You can see all your students right there in your main room, and this is room number 1, room number 2, room 3, and then you can, progress on through. Right, yeah, there's a video right there. So then you go to the next. That little thumbnail is me right there. And then you go over here and so on. Okay, and you can see that the audio visual control on the control panel is actually controlling this, because if I turn that off, that gets turned off, and so on. If I turn the microphone off, then it goes. Now, if you're wondering about the feedback, the reason why there's feedback is because I have the students and the teacher all on the same one computer, right? So you would not have that in a normal situation. Everybody's on their own computer. Okay, so that's basically it for the assignments, and I mixed and matched on the fly with this checkbox. Normally you would not do that. You would just keep the checkbox either on all the time or off all the time. Okay, and so I went over these. These are the students right there. Okay, so let's just move on to the next. And this is pre-assigned. It's very similar to the ad hoc mode. The only difference is that you, in a Microsoft Word or text editor app, you'll just assign students to groups. That's it. And then you'll just copy it and paste it into the chat. And then you'll still need to do this next part where you'll copy the room numbers and their associated addresses, and you'll copy that and paste that into the chat. Let's go to the next section, is mute and remove students. You can do that in lots of different ways. You can mute all the students in the main, so I can click on that and then I'll mute everybody. I can mute all students in all breakouts. I can click on that. You can see that it's actually doing something there. And you can remove all students from just whatever their current room is. So let's go over here to the third room. And let's say I want to remove everybody from this room, which is the third room. And I'll click on that. And we'll say goodbye to Amanda. Okay, so Amanda's gone. Now you may be wondering, like, why did my video appear here? It's just a Google thing, a Google Meet thing. If there are any participants in the room, then the video for yourself gets moved over to the thumbnail. It doesn't show you here. Now, one other thing I want to point out is that you'll need to choose. Over on the right-hand side, the bottom right-hand side, these 3 dots, people refer to this as the snowman. So you'll click on this and you'll choose, make sure you choose change layout. And I almost always go with tiled. I recommend you go with tiled. And within tiled, you want to move this all the way over to the right, and this will allow you to have 49 participants. And this extension, you'll need that because this extension is what you see is what you get. What you see is what you get. So if this participants are not visible over here, then I can't see them for assignment purposes. Now let me just show you what I'm talking about. If I go over here and I say change layout to spotlight. Okay, so I'm just going to have one person there. All right, so let's just say that I want to assign participants. I'm just going to see, don't make me a liar here. Let's see. Well, I do see everybody. Now, that could be because I had already previously assigned everybody. But if you're having problems seeing all your students, make sure that you go to the change layout and you choose tiled and just move it all the way to the right. Okay, and that should get you where you need to go. All right, I went over this. I have some basic reports. I have this report here. It's a status report. You could take a look at this. And this shows you all your students. Are they in the main room? Yes or no? Yes, they are. And they were assigned a breakout. So I kicked out Amanda, so she's not in any breakout room at all. But she was assigned to room 2. All right, so that's a red, that's an error. How about John? John is in room, he's actually in room 1, but he was assigned in room 3. I juggled around the assignments, so that's why it's showing up as an error. But you know, I could prove this functionality, so I'll just move this around like that, and then I will rerun the report. Let's take a look, and then we should see, okay, John's fine. He was assigned to 1, he's in 1. All right. Sally was assigned to 3, but she's in 2. All right, so let's fix that. Let's put this over here, and then I'll rerun the report. And then everything's good. The only person that's in the wrong place is Amanda. She was assigned to 3, but she's absent. She's AWOL. Okay. All right. So that's it for the quick start. I think I went a little bit long, but I went over everything. I went over how you can get this up and running in 60 seconds. I went over all the different tabs, and I also went over this part right here, which I think is very, very important for teachers who have small computers. Now they can run the extension without any problems. All right, thank you for watching.